Hey, 반갑습니다. It's answer some questions time. And this is always a good time because I get a lot of great questions from all of you, or for all of you that have given me questions, and a lot of great comments. And the reason why some of them are really good is because, you know, I don't really know all the answers to all the questions. And so I like to, before I speak to something, before I make a video, I like to make sure that at least to the best of my ability, I can speak to them. So it gives me an opportunity to do some research, find out the best answer, and put it out there in a video. So thanks to everybody who has given me questions and comments, both good and bad. I love them all, but thanks so much. Keep them coming. Women's safety, first question. One concern my mom is really worried about is the safety of women there. I know you have to use common sense and everything, but have your female friends or teachers had any problems? To answer the second part, no, my friends have not had any issues. My female friend teachers, they haven't had any issues. In fact, they'll comment about basically how safe it feels here. That doesn't mean that crime doesn't exist. In Korea, it exists everywhere. And in fact, I'm going to read an excerpt from the Bureau of Diplomatic Security, the OSAC, on their 2012 Crime and Security report. I'm going to put a link to it in the comments section so you can check it out yourself. But I quote, "While infrequent by U.S. standards, street crimes do occur in South Korea. One young American citizen English teacher reported being raped by a taxi driver in Daegu in late 2011. But such reports are very rare. Most reported crimes involve pickpocketing in tourist areas and crowded markets, and most crimes are non-violent. Korea has very restrictive gun control laws, so few crimes involve firearms. The crimes that most frequently occur: pickpocketing, purse snatchings, assault, which by definition in the United States can mean that it's only verbal assault. Hotel and residential crimes occur more often in major metropolitan areas than elsewhere in the Republic of Korea." So I think, like the person who gave me the question said, you know, just use common sense. If you're back home, you're going to do the same thing. You're going to be careful of the areas you go into, things like that. Make sure you guard your belongings. Don't let valuable things be hanging out of your pocket. If you have a backpack, you know, make sure everything's zipped up, locked up tight. One thing that I always do whenever I go to a new area, whether it's a new city or a new country, when I came to Korea, the first thing I do is I look at the cops and how they're geared up, because that's going to tell you a lot about their job function and what they're dealing with on a daily basis. The police officers here in Busan, which is the second largest city in the country, they don't wear vests. At least not that I can tell. There's no Kevlar vests going on underneath there, because when a cop wears a vest, it's pretty bulky. Their utility belts are pretty limited, and their guns, if they're carrying one, they're generally lower caliber. The holsters are kind of old, outdated design. They don't have the safety features, the safety locks or anything like that. It's not like they're carrying Glocks or anything. So I just look at that, and that tells me right off the bat, well, they're probably not dealing with a whole lot of violent crime. There's very little drug issues here. Very little firearms, like this report said. So violent crimes is not going to be a real big issue. Like it said, you're going to have to worry about the other things. But just keep your nose clean, don't do anything foolish, and I think you should be okay. To that end, the most recent report on murder rates by country showed that South Korea is actually twice the average of East Asia. And East Asia is made up of countries like China and Japan, so very large countries, and it's twice the average. Which will probably freak you out, but don't be freaked out too much, because it's also half the murder rate in the United States. So, and you know, if you're from the United States, you got to be in a big city to really be coming across murder scenes or things like that. Even if you live in, I'm from the Miami area, and you're never going to really see a murder scene or anything like that unless you're looking for it. So, I wouldn't be too worried. Just be safe when you get here, use common sense, and you'll be okay. Second question, is there ice hockey in Korea? Yes, there is ice hockey in Korea, but it is not popular at all, especially if you're from Canada, obviously Canada, or from the United States and you like the NHL. It's definitely nothing like that. I remember when I first got here, I was walking past some construction site, and on the little safety board of things, there was some big posters of what looked like promotion for professional hockey. Like, wow, they got professional hockey here in Korea. But the reality of it is in this region of the world, they do have an Asian hockey league. And that's comprised of countries like China, Japan, and South Korea. And you know how large the population is in China and Japan as well. There's 50 million people in South Korea, and there's 7 teams. So that tells you that it's really not that popular here. And that 7 or 8 teams that's currently playing against each other throughout the whole season, that's actually down from a few years ago. A lot of teams just kind of dissolved, some were merged together. So it's not like it's gonna be easy to kind of find a rink and find a pickup game of hockey or something like that if that's what you're looking for. Or if you're just looking to find a game, it might be tough, and the competition isn't going to be what you're used to back home. It definitely didn't catch on like baseball did here in Korea. Baseball is huge here in Korea. Okay, third question, good question, a little bit of a touchy question maybe to some of you. Is it hard for Asians to get a job working in schools in South Korea? I have heard from some people that some families in Korea want their teachers who teach their child English to also look the part, and if you are Asian, they may disapprove. Oof. Well, I don't know what schools you're talking about. I don't know if you're talking about tutoring or hagwons or whatever. I don't know anything about those because I'm involved with neither, but what I can speak to is EPIC. Now, I'll give you the most recent example. I'm part of the August intake, and the renewals for the August intake were recently announced, and this is coming off the cuff of more cutbacks in the program. I'm sure you've heard if you've looked into it. And what that means is for everybody that wanted to renew, there was a much smaller number of opportunities available for people who wanted to renew. And if you got renewed, you were very fortunate. Now, I was very fortunate to have been renewed. I'll be teaching elementary school for the next year, come August. But I looked through the complete list of all teachers that are going to be renewed or coming in. It might be the complete list, but I'm not really sure if it's just renewals or if it's the complete list of teachers coming in. But on that list, I only recognized 3 names. That means that everyone that was in my orientation class and all the people that I know, they're moving on or they just weren't renewed. Now, of those 3 people, one was a non-Korean Asian. The second person, a friend of mine, is half Filipino. The third one is Indian descent, also technically Asian, but Indian descent from South Africa. And then there's me, and I'm half Korean. So I don't know who the other people are that you're talking to. I've said it before, if they're coming from forums, take it with a grain of salt. But in terms of EPIC, that's the only thing I can speak to. I believe that EPIC hires not based on your nationality or your ethnic background or your gender or anything like that, but on your qualities, on your clean record, your attitude, and things like that. So I say that it does not matter. And from my evidence, I'm batting 1,000. So I don't know who these other people are, but I would say just be careful what you listen to. Don't think in those terms. There's more evidence out there that it is not the case than there is that it is the case. So just beware. Keep a positive attitude. Just go for it. If you want to do it, just do it. Apply it, throw it over the wall, and see what happens. Go from there. You're not going to get all the jobs you apply for in life. It's just the way it goes. Okay, 4th one for old people like me. Also, another reason I worry that they might rule me out is because I'm 40. 40 years old? My gosh, dude. You are old. I'm just kidding. I'm actually older than you. And again, I would say, here I am. I just got renewed for a 3rd year in the midst of some very competitive circumstances with Epic, and I think it's evidence that age doesn't matter as long as you bring to the table a good record, a good attitude, and if you have experience in the past, you'll be all set. If there are circumstances, if there are schools out there, and this is just a general thing, if there are schools out there that you're applying to, speaking to, and things that start to smell like age, nationality, ethnicity, gender, if those things even smell like they're coming into question, my humble recommendation to you would be to do an about face and walk, because it's just not a good sign. There are plenty that do not base their hiring credentials or requirements on those things, and the EPIC program absolutely does not. So I know you might be anxious to come over here, but don't sell yourself short. Just look for the thing that your heart is settled on and that you got a good feeling in your gut, and you'll be better off. Okay, last one is not a question, it's a comment. And the comment goes, that announcement bell at the end was gangsta. So I just wanted a standard schedule. That's the public school system.